All right, welcome in, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Y'all notice I shaved? Beth made me shave, and I went and got actually a professional haircut, which I think is the first haircut I've got since I had my toe amputation, since we got all eat up with the COVID. Y'all remember that? So I'm negative. Everything's good now. I'm good. So I got a real nice haircut. I shaved a little bit. Now I didn't shave with shaving cream because I can't find that razor. And I think the kids have been like shaving the cat or something. So that razor's gone, but I was able to use my trimmers to give me a little bit of a. So Beth said I look 20 years younger. Isn't that crazy? So I said, I look like I'm 18 now. All right. Hey, so I have been foggy the last couple of days. So now that I'm not foggy, I'll make sure that I go through a couple of things. So let's talk about the what happens if our options are in the money. First of all, if you're trading SPX or NDX or the RUT, we've got to make sure we know. How do I change how big that is? I want it to be bigger. There we go. So if you're trading SPX and you've got short options that expire, what happens to those? Those expire to cash. I can't see. Woo, heavens. All right. So short options, if it's SPX, it expires to cash. Now, number one, let's think about it. SPX cannot expire to shares because you can't buy shares of SPX, right? So it expires if you're short an option that expires to cash. So that's why we're okay with letting our SPX, go to expiration, because it's just, they expire to cash. You don't get assigned anything, you don't get futures, you don't get anything, right? So that's the way that works. Now, if you're trading a stock, why SPY, that's a little different, isn't it? SPY expires, you got a short option. Let's say you sold one put, right? You're short put, and it expires in the money. In the money. What happens? Well, you are assigned 100 shares of the stock, 100 shares. So stocks, when your options on stocks expire in the money, there's a share that's either put to you or called from you. So if you sold a call and it expires in the money, which means let's say you sold the 100 call, and expiring in the money would be if the price of the stock is above that call. So the stock goes to 105. So that call's in the money. So what does that mean? That means that you are called to shares. So if you had 100 shares to SPY and you sold a covered call, and at expiration you get in there, your shares are called away, right? So now you got 0 shares. Now you're saying, well, what if I didn't have any shares? And I got, well, you wake up and your account, you've been short 100 shares of stock. Okay, make sure everybody knows how these things work. All right, now let's go to futures. Let's go to futures. And if your futures expire, so we're talking, something like micros or ES, right? Here you go. And let's say you sold a put there. So I'm short one put in the micros. And if that little puppy expires in the money, so that means the price of the stock or the price of the futures is below your strike, what happens when you wake up? Everybody know? Bueller? So you would wake up with a short future. If that expires in the money. So you'll look and you'll actually be short, not an option, but a future, right? So you just got to make sure that you know all that. So here's what we would say. We're definitely not going to let, we don't care if you're trading SPX and it goes, because it's just going to, it's going to cash settle to whatever the spot is. If you do a stock like SPY or the Qs or Apple, then those are settled in shares. And if you're doing futures, those are settled in futures, not options on futures, but they're settled in futures. So just make sure everybody's got a really good understanding of what happens. So really, you never want an in the money future to settle. You want to close that so that you're not assigned future. So don't let a in the money, if it's closed, probably go ahead and close it anyway. But if it doesn't, the futures isn't really a big problem, because I think the assignment happens at, I don't know, 4:15, whenever that, probably 4:15 or more. I got to check exactly the time that happens. But what you could do then is immediately, close the future. I mean, you could close it, and you can close it during the overnight hours. You don't have to worry about tomorrow to doing it, when the market opens in the morning, because futures trade virtually 24 hours a day, almost. So that's the good thing if you're assigned futures. So don't panic. You don't want to be assigned shares, though, or called shares, so that you have negative shares. This gives you overnight risk. So that's why you definitely never let a stock or an ETF expire in the money. Close those. Close. All right. And we talked about day before yesterday, if you didn't close them, we told you how to hedge that overnight using futures, particularly micro futures for most people. So I just want to make sure that we were clear with everybody. Did I record this thing? I cannot. Yeah, I'm recording. All right. So any questions about assignments and all that kind of stuff? Don't let your options go in, that are in the money expire. All right. So let's look at our screwdriver today. We'll start with that first, mix it up. So it's about 92 away from the money. So let's see how that looks. And I didn't do anything yesterday. Well, I take that back. I did do something yesterday, which was dumb, because I always do dumb stuff at the most inopportune time. And I was like, Bobby Genius yesterday was like, the market's out of control there, Bob. You need to close some of these short calls that you're getting run over. And I closed one of them. Now I wish I had, but I'll tell you about that. We'll show you what we did. So, we know that this will normalize. This will come back down here. And for that to do that, the market's got to settle down a bit. And the market's got to go up, sideways, something, so that we get some normalization of this skew that's out there. So it will normalize. For this to normalize, the market's going to probably go up. Is it going to happen tomorrow to make it back down here? We don't know that. We don't know if it'll take this long. We don't know if it'll take that long. We don't know if it'll take that long. We just know that it will normalize. Problem is, it could go this way before it goes this way. All right, so let's save that. I said, let's save that, Bob. Oh, Bobby, old pal. Bobby Genius. All right. Let's see if we're getting any actions taken today. We got our thing working all just good, aren't we? No actions today. Look at there. You hit your little refresh price, boom, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, boom. And I'm glad that some of y'all are saying, hey, Bob, this works on Google Sheets. Now, someone said that if you're running this on Google Sheets, it doesn't give you all the bells and the whistles and all that kind of stuff that the spreadsheet has. But it's encouraging to know that the thing works. All right. Then I want to make sure that we go back, and we've got a question in our Discord. So let's look at this. I try to answer all the questions live in Discord, but sometimes I don't have time. I was sleeping late today. Oh, I slept good. All right, so here's the question right here by Das Katzen. I like that. I'm running back testing on the AIM spreadsheet using two stocks. I'm slightly confused as to what I'm seeing when comparing the actions on the dashboard page versus the actions on the quarterly rebalance page. I set up the test where my stock number 1 should be 50%, stock number 2, 25%, cash 25%, which is all great. Of course, as the trades move along, this percentage fluctuates. On both the dashboard and the rebalance sheet, the percent figures are in sync with each other. That's good. However, the indicated actions will vary greatly. The dashboard will tell me, for example, sell 1,122 shares of stock number 1, and then sell 12 shares of stock number 2. But the rebalance page will tell me to buy 419 shares of stock 1 and buy 10 shares of stock number 2. Can you explain this to me? To this point in my test, I'm allowing the action from the page that seems like it would be the most beneficial according to the movement of price. So let me just answer that question. And here's what you need to know. Lacello never rebalanced. He never told us to rebalance. He never said it would be ideal to rebalance. So if you are strictly running AIM, then you don't need the rebalance feature at all, which is sort of cool. You never need to go in and do a quarterly rebalance. You never have to. So if you're strictly running AIM, don't worry about it. Let this thing do your actions. Now, for those of you who are in my Alabama class, unfortunately, 1/3, well, not 1/3, yeah, 1/3 of y'all are having to do a rebalance on the back test. So how would you do that? So here's what I would do. Let's say today is February the 3rd, 203, which is my number. Y'all know Boy Scout Troop 203. I don't go anywhere on 203. I stay in the house all day. I sit, when I did have a job, I would call in and I would not go to work because 203 is my number. And I didn't know if my number is a good thing or a bad thing. So I normally try to stay at home on 203. Don't go on vacations on 203. We don't do anything on 203. We sit at the house because who knows if it's an omen for bad or maybe it's something really good. So 203. So when would we rebalance? Well, we rebalance quarterly and we would rebalance at the end of March. So at the end of March, what you would do is you would not take any actions here. So if your thing says take actions here, you wouldn't take these. And what you would do on the final day of March, or if you're going to do it on the first day of April, then you would go to the quarterly rebalance and take this. Now, if you take this action, now if you take this action, what should you do? You'll go enter it on the AIM activity, and then you've got to say, is this a new capital withdrawal rebalancing? Yes, it is. Then you put yes here. Questions, comments? So then you would ignore anything that it said in the AIM dashboard. But keep in mind, Lacello never told us to rebalance. I have searched for the word rebalance. I have read the book probably 8 or 9 times now. I have never seen rebalance. And after going through his chapter 6 simulation and confirming that our spreadsheet works with the same numbers he had on a 3x5 index card, I know that our spreadsheet works exactly right. He went through a 7.5 year back test that I've done 2 years of. I'm probably going to finish it. I don't know if any of y'all have, but the cool thing is it works, and he never rebalanced. So don't worry about rebalancing if you're just strictly running AIM. Now, especially, let's think about it, especially if you're building up cash. Let's say that my recommended allocations that I start my whole program off with, say I'm doing the 70, what is that? Lincoln. Say that you're 70% TQQQ, 20% TMF, and 10% stock. And all of a sudden, the TQQs just plummet. And you're at the end of the quarter and you want to rebalance. You know, I mean, you could do, I mean, whatever's more advantageous. Whenever you've got cash, let's say that your count is 50-50. Now it's, you know, you've been burning off cash on your TQs, have been going up, and you've got 50% cash. When TQQ craters, yeah, I mean, go in and use some of that cash to move into TQQQ. It's what we want. So that's what people are saying in our chat room here. Let's go back to what y'all are saying. Let's go live chat. See, JW says, Oh, here we go. So Ken's telling us we are here, on the side right here. We're going up, going up, going up. And so we get the dead cat bounce, then we go down again, get dead cat bounce, then we go, crash, 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 crash. Ken says we're here. Alex says, I hope so. I want me some more TQQQ. And I gave the little snuggle thing. I guess that's a snuggle. I'm hugging. I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger, not a fighter. So I hug that. And then JW says TQQ will be on sale with NQ down 2.8% pre-market. Exactly. Now the problem is I don't have a signal to buy any. And I shouldn't buy any because I really don't have the cash to do it. So I'm good. But keep in mind, you don't have to worry about this quarterly rebalancing at all. I just built it in case you want to, because some of y'all are going to be running, and I'm here for you if you're doing this. Some of y'all are going to be running Hedge Fundy's Excellent Adventure. So if you're seeing anywhere or doing a search for Hedge Fundy's Excellent Adventure, it looks like this, HFEA. And what Hedge Fundy's Excellent Adventure is 55% UPRO. Bob, I thought we were doing TQQ. I didn't say this was ours. I said, this is what Hedge Fundy's Excellent Adventure does. 55% UPRO, and then 45% TML. No cash. Right? There's no cash in that plan. And then what he does is rebalances quarterly. And I believe the rebalances happen on April 1st. That's when you rebalance at the end of March, right? April 1st. That'd be what, July 1st? Hold on, September, be October 1st, and on January 1st, our rebalancing days. So if you want to run Hedge Fundy's Excellent Adventure, that's how you do it. Now, if you want to do Hedge Fundy Excellent Adventures with Lacello's AIM, that's kind of cool. But you really need to figure out, are you just going to rebalance or are you going to let AIM run? So if you're going to run Hedge Fundy's Excellent Adventure and rebalance, you can do that, or you could let AIM run. Right? And I throw a lot of credibility to AIM. It looks like this thing is really, really, really strong in allowing us to accumulate shares. And you don't have to use it in UPRO. You don't have to use it in TQs. You can use it in SPY. You can use it in Apple. You can use it any darn way that you want. And it works out really, really good. What are you trading besides AIM now? Dwayne, here's what I'm trading beside AIM now. So here's the plan. Right? Here's what we're doing now. Not that this is right, but we're trading AIM. Right? Now, I'm about to whoop out and show y'all a Roth IRA. So we're going to add 2 more accounts. I'm going to add an IRA to our public arena. I'm going to add a regular IRA to our public arena. We're going to run AIM in that as well. So, let's just complicate it a little further. Let's add a couple more accounts to what we're showing. All right, we'll do that. So we're running AIM. And of course, we're doing it in TQQQ and TML for cash. We can do covered calls on our shares, right? We can do, what else were we? We can do collars, protective collars. Right? What is that? That's selling a call, buying a put. We do the 111. Bob, I ain't seen you do 111 while. Exactly, I did, because some of our buying power was gone, and we didn't do the 111 for a while. Still love the 111. When's the optimal time to do a 111? On a down day. We're doing the Sweet Bobby Hedge, or the Bobby Sweet Hedge, whichever you call it, because I will never again mention that gentleman ever again. We're doing the VIX Hedge. All right. What else are we doing now? We got the VIX Hedge. We got that. We got the collars. We got the covered calls. We got what else we got? That's pretty much it, isn't it? Pretty big little arena here. Oh, now we can do in low volatility. I still want to always be able to do some calendars. Calendars are really, really good in a low IV environment. when the volatility is really, really low. So we got a whole plan. And the hope is, I swear I hope, I bought Scrivener. Why did I buy Scrivener? Because I'm writing a book. Right here. And what Scrivener is? It's what people use to buy books. Here we go. Ta-da! So I bought Scrivener so that I can write my memoirs, my personal notes. But no, seriously, I'm trying to use this to do a chapter for this, a chapter for the, for the Sweet Bobby Hedge. We'll do this, and then kind of talk about how you add everything together to do a really, really nice comprehensive plan. So what we're trying to do. If we play with the TQQ price and drop it to 58, you get a signal to buy 58 shares. But if you step up to 58.15, there's no signal. I think we still have a bug in the algo. If we play with the TQQ price, drop it to 85, you get a signal to buy. But if you step up to 58.15, there's no signal. I don't think it's a bug in the algo. I mean, what we have now is that, I noticed when I would compare it to what Lacello did, sometimes there's a rounding difference. So sometimes it'll tell, like his may say, hey, buy 32 shares, and ours would say buy 31. And I've simply got a normal rounding on there. So if it's 0.5 or more, it rounds up. If it's, 0.49 or less, it rounds down. So it's just rounding. If you don't like my rounding in there, all you got to do is change. You could say, I want it to always round up, or I want it to always round down. So you can do a search for round, where I've used round in any of the calculations, and you can change that if you want to, change that. But it's really pennies don't matter. Pennies don't matter. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a line in the sand that says if it's above this, don't do it, or if it's below this, do it. So we've always going to have that line in the sand. So I wouldn't let that worry. I don't think it's a bug at all. Why? Because I've gone and used this back test with our spreadsheet. And if you're doing the back test, you go, God, Bob, this is complicated. Well, it is in the back testing only because you don't know your net lick from month to month when you're doing the back test. You have to kind of calculate it manually. We don't have to do that as traders going forward because, so if I were y'all and you go, man, Bobby, this is just you got this hedges and all this garbage in there. I just want to keep it real simple. Then what would I do? I just run AIM, let it go. If you don't want to do the options and all stuff, just run AIM, let it go. And if you're a little nervous with 70% TQ or 70% UPRO, do 50%. Or do the hedge fund excellent adventure, do 55% UPRO, 45% TML. And then you can either run hedge fundies excellent adventure with a quarterly rebalancing and just look at it once a quarter. So you'll be making trades 4 times a year. You can be as slow or as you want to be. And I think that's a fine program. Or put it into the AIM calculations and just say, instead of doing quarterly rebalancing, I'm just going to let AIM run. I'm going to let AIM tell me when to buy when it's low and sell when it's high. So you got all kind of options. And remember, that's what I do. I overly complicate things that I shouldn't. And that's why I'm trying to slap myself on my wrist and say, okay, the spreadsheet's done. I've got enough back testing, looking at what Lacello did to go, it works with what Lacello did. I have run to see if the rebalancing works. Yeah, the rebalancing tab works fine. So the sheet's done. Now, the problem is, leave it, Bobby, quit. Because I told you the other day, I could easily go, all right, I need to put in a trigger that says, if you don't have the cash to do whatever the trigger says, then don't do it. Right? I could easily put that trigger in there. If cash is less than blah, 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 the amount to do the trigger, don't even show the trigger. But I don't think that's fair. I think we want to see the trigger. So if you look at the trigger that says buy 50 shares, and you go, I'm out of cash. Well, you can't buy the 50 shares. But I still think it's neat to show you that the algo says, well, you needed to. I know you can't. Can you buy one? And I thought, well, I could change the spreadsheet to say, well, only buy what you have the cash to buy. But that's not the real trigger. Well, Bob, then you could set it up separate. See, I could really complicate this thing. Let's don't do that. Let's stop. Let's slap my hand. Like Beth says, Bobby, don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. And keep in mind, that's what academia does. That's what college professors do. They overly complicate stuff. And I don't want to be that college professor that has to make everything so complicated. Let's keep it simple. Let's remember the words of my great Karen the Super Trader, who says, the simpler I made it, the more successful I got. So if we really want to keep it simple, what we would do is we would run AIM. We would check on it once a quarter. So we would trade 4 times a year, and we would do 4 videos a year. That's what you and I would do. Now, if we really wanted to be on fire, then what we do is we'd run AIM, and we'd meet 12 times a year. And we'd say, okay, baby, it's April 1st. Let's get on it. No. We do it every month. Yeah, that's what I said. We could either do it, we could do it monthly. Well, if we were really renegades, we'd go, man, let's meet 12 times a year. So at the end of February, we come together on March 1st, baby. So we'd be like, hey, let's rebalance this puppy. Now, if we really got complicated, we could say, let's meet every 2 weeks. So that's 26 times a year. Let's do that. We'd have 26 sessions together. Yeah, we have to get on here every day because we enjoy it. I enjoy looking at my little thing every day. I want to see if it's telling me to buy or sell every day. I come in here and I wake up and I go, come on, tell me something. Tell me something. And they tell me nothing. So, you know, it's so you're saying that if it goes to 58, whatever, it's going to tell us something. Now, I'm not sure if mine is compared to yours because who knows what all we got in here, but I'm pretty confident if you're using the latest version of the spreadsheet that we're good to go. I'm not going to touch it anymore. And y'all help me not touch it. Don't say, but when I come back in, I say, I made a change, y'all. I want y'all to say, Bobby, y'all are just now seeing my desktop. Huh. Oh, I know why, because I was showing you this, I guess. All right, let's see if what did you say? Even with TMF, the first signal is always at 31 shares. Okay. All right. So anyway, kind of cool, right? If we do discover a problem, we'll do it. But why I feel that we don't have a problem is I've tested it with chapter 6 of what Lucello's telling us. And let me show you where that is. I'm gonna open my Kindle app. Some of y'all bought the big money paperback or hardback. I'll be, hey. I said open, Kindle. Here it goes. Come on, Kindle. Open. So, yeah, here we are. We're in chapter 6, right? So in chapter 6, yeah. Let's see what it says. This is first year. Here's what I want you to do right here, right? You need to rotate this, figure out how to rotate this. And in chapter 6, do this. And if you'll run through, I've already run through the first 2 years. There's year 1, there's year 2. And everything that his 3x5 card tells him to do, I'm getting the exact same numbers in our algorithm. Exact same. So we are spot on, baby. We are right on, babe. And then I'm going to go out just to make sure. I want to do year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6, and year 7, and year 7.5. And let's see how much we do. Has anyone done that yet? I think it'll be fun when we do that and see how many millions we've got in just 10 lowly years. All right, so let's look at the market. Yeah, wow. 15-minute range. AD is really, it's negative. And we're sliding down. And we're under the overnight low. And we're under the cash open and under VWAP and under the hourly mid-band. I like this hourly mid-band because it kind of tells you what it's doing every hour, right? The hourly mid-band says we are walking down. This is some pivot point. I have no idea what that is. And the Nasdaq is down 3%. Wow. Let's see if this changed any. It's kind of cool. You can go in here and go refresh stock price, 58.66. Hit the refresh stock price, and it's now 58.73. Wow. Still no trigger. And don't just sit here and go, I'm going to do this every day, 28 times a day. I'm going to refresh it till it shows me a trigger. No, do it once and close it. Do it once and shut it down. If you're checking it every day, just look, whatever it is at the regular time that you open it, what's your trigger? And remember, when you open this, it automatically updates. So if you close it down and you open it back up, these numbers won't stay the same until I do this. It'll automatically update when I close the whole program and open it back up. Got it just set up so that you're just doing okay. So don't overly trade. Don't overly trade. That's what gets us in trouble, overly trading. And I'm not overly trading it. I'm just waiting for signals. I'm waiting for some of my little buying power to come back. But I'm not really having to do anything every day. Not having to do that every day. So, and we're going to have some drawdowns when you're owning this TQQQ. You just are. That's why I like that I can buy some puts. I can buy some, sell some calls. I can do all that kind of stuff to make my decisions. Let's see, we're down 1,700 on the day. Yeah. So what I like though is while this is down, our TQQ position is down 1,900. Check this out. It would be worse. It would be down 3,500. Oh, behave. But I've got 4 puts that I bought. Now, why did I buy puts? Because that's part of my covered call strategy, right? That's part of the collar strategy of this. So I'm offsetting some of those losses, especially in this perilous, uncertain time, because we know things are kind of shaky in the market now. So we're doing some additional things. Fortunately, look at this. Oh, Bobby Genius yesterday had 4 covered calls. I had 4 of these puppies. No, Bobby Genius closed it yesterday. Closed one of them. Thank God I didn't close all 3 of them, because that's giving me $1,300 on the day. Isn't that great? So instead of me being down $3,400, I'm down $1,800. And then I've got a further hedge that says, well, that's not too bad either, because look at your micros doing good. Yeah, your little black swan hedges, they're popping up a little, just a little. And the VIX popping up just a little. And there's really nothing for me to do as I look at everything. Let's see. Yeah, make sure I beta weighted my SPY. So let's see where our deltas are. Delta 83. Okay, we're still long. We have positive theta and a very measurable vega. Nothing to do. So I could do a wood today. I don't think I want to. I'm just going to chill for the day. I'm going to go get me if Beth will allow, I'm going to go get me a chili cheeseburger from the Southern Lady with some French fries. And then I'm going to put some Frank's hot sauce on it. Or I used to be Texas Pete guy, but I like Frank's, I think, better. And then, have y'all ever been to the IHOP? You go to IHOP and they have the Cholula. I like the Cholula. It's got the little Spanish or Mexican lady on there. She's holding some peppers on top of her head. Oh, yeah. I like that too. All right. So kind of cool, right? So, for some of y'all, if y'all let some of y'all's micros expire, you may have a future in your portfolio right now. You got to make sure. Let's see if I got one, right? I got one future. Yeah, here it is. See him right there? See how that looks different than everything else? Y'all need to make sure y'all know if you've got all options or did you let something expire in the money. And if you do, you look through here and it'll show you, hey, pal, you're short a micro future, not an option. Make sure y'all checking that. That's why I went over that assignment thing today. So that another way for you to do it is to go look at your charts and bring up the DOM. How do you bring up the DOM? Well, I have it right here. And my DOM tells me that I am short a future. So if some of y'all open this up and you got micros here and you've been selling micros, you better check and see if you're short a future. Now, am I fine with being short a future? Heck yeah. Now, do I watch this every day? No, I'm fine. I'm fine because it's the futures. Oh, that's part of our plan too, isn't it? We could trade futures to neutralize our deltas. Let's put that on there too. Futures. Especially to, what's the symbol for neutralize? It's not that, that's approximation. Anyway, we're going to neutralize, if I spell that, neutralize deltas. You can do these, especially in times of, when crap hits the fan and you're like, man, what do I do? You go delta neutral so that you don't get all run over. So I'm short of future. How would you, well, I'd put a buy signal here, right? If I wanted to close it, I put a buy right here. I just buy it back. That's how you get out of it. So y'all need to do this. Let me share this with you so y'all can open this up. Let's see. I'm going to share grid. Copy this. I'll put it in our little chat so everybody can get that. Control V. Boom. There you go. So everybody go into the chat. Go Control C. Highlight that link. Then you're going to go here. You're going to go open shared item. You're going to type it in, hit preview, and then hit import. And it should open you and show you, it should show you those same signals, ES, ES, and MBS in the middle. And if you've been trading the micros, it'll tell you that you have a short position on. Now, if it said, 0, 0, it's fine. And remember, when you're trading, if you're scalping these, then you're always going to go in here, and after you finish scalping, hit the flatten button. Flatten makes sure that you're out of everything because you never want to be in stuff. So you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, Bobby, this is going up and down. But I don't care. This is just part of a delta adjustment right now. Just part of a delta adjustment. Fortunately, it's working out for me. Right? I'm up $116 on the whole trade. All right, let's look at our big green monster because I was really impressed yesterday or day before yesterday with our big green monster. Let's go to ES, see if it's working, see if it's doing what it does. All right, so we went from fair value. Let me draw the butt that I used to draw every day. We don't draw it anymore. There's a butt. That's fair value. That's where the price is fairly priced. Look what it does. It goes, well, let's go above that. And look, y'all. Is that amazing that it just seems to consolidate along these green lines? Well, Bob, you must have drew that on the same day that it was consolidating. Well, no. When did we draw that? We draw that on Monday. Well, maybe we did draw it on Tuesday. But I just love it that it consolidates around these green lines, right? We see consolidation, periods of extended consolidation, oftentimes around these areas. So it went from a period of being overbought to now going into a period of being oversold. We're oversold now. Well, no, we're not oversold. We're overbought because it's back into this area. Right? It's back into this area. So notice it's having to make a decision. It's sitting there going, do I want to be overbought or do I want to be oversold? And it's making a decision. So being overbought as it currently is, we wouldn't be surprised to see these gaps filled with volume profile and to spend a little bit of time here. And we're never surprised to see a return to the point of control where the most volume has traded over the last 10 days. And we're never surprised to see it go back to the 50% line in the fair value range. So it's making a decision. Am I going to be overbought or oversold? Now, if you're looking at the skew is telling us that there's a good chance that we're going to go sideways to upward. Right? If it stays in this area, there's a good chance we're going to go down to here. But remember, the skew doesn't tell us the timing at all. So in other words, we use this, and you'll see these little areas that work really good. Let me show you what it looked like the other day in our Discord group where I shared that. Where did I share that? Here it goes. So it looks like Bob just drew another big green monster. So let's go to the top of the big green line and consolidate so we can find the fat joker in the morning. So let's see what it looked like. Surely enough, look what it did. It goes, I'm going to jump up to here, chuck, then I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. And then I'm going to consolidate around the green line. And doesn't it do that so often, so many times? All right, now let's look at Nasdaq. Nasdaqs. See what this looks like. I'll be dang. We see consolidation along this, which was resistance. Y'all see that that's resistance. I mean, that's you can't any clear. And that's what the big green monster does. It shows the support, resistance, areas of being overbought and oversold. So this is the fair value zone, and you know it because you see the dotted 50% line. So this is fair value. Fair value. This is overbought. Anything between this green line and this green line is overbought. So check it out. It goes, oh wow, resistance, resistance, resistance. I mean, I can't draw it any better than that. I can't draw it any better than that. And the problem is, this will still work for the remainder of this month. It's incredible how this thing works. And now look where it's kind of having a little bit of issue at the green line. Trying to figure out, hey, should I come back into here? And being overbought, we anticipate price to come back in here because it's at a period of being overbought, and we see a clear resistance here. That is resistance, y'all. So, even if it goes back up to here, I would assume that resistance once may be resistance twice. So what would you say about the future of NASDAQ for the next 2 or 3 or 10 days? Well, I'd say it's probably going to go between here and here. If I had to draw a little probability cone. And my deference or my preference, I guess, will be it's probably, because it's overbought, it's probably going to go right in here and fill out some of these little shimmy these little gaps right here as it goes back down to this area. Now, is this important at all in using the AIM program? Not at all. Not at all. This is just kind of a fun thing. So I can look and say, well, if I wanted to do covered calls, should I do a covered call now if I don't have them on? Well, the best place to have done a covered call was when it was overbought and when it was at the area of resistance that we clearly saw here. So that's how you can use this. So you go, well, I'm in the TQQQs, which is NASDAQ related. So if I am overbought and I think that there's going to be resistance up here, yeah, great time to have done your covered call there. But Bobby Genius yesterday says, hey, man, I'm going to take one off, dorkhead. Well, number one, I was on the road. I was in my car and I didn't have my big gray monsters and I've been able to look at everything. I just had my phone. So Bobby Genius, remember, Bobby Genius works at the most inopportune time. He does the most idiotic thing at the most inopportune time. That's Bobby Genius. And that's what I try to protect my wealth against, is Bobby Genius. Because Bobby Genius is dangerous. Algorithms, formulas, process, and plan is what Bobby needs to focus on. Bobby Genius gets in the way. Bobby Genius is my worst nightmare. Bobby Genius is the one who says, let's go buy goats so we can sell goat meat to the Cubans when there's not a Cuban within 50 miles of Bowden, Georgia, especially back in the 90s when I was, the goat master. My friend convinced us that we were going to make a fortune selling goats to the Cubans. How dumb was that? Then, knowing that real estate is going digital and advertising is going digital, what did Bobby Genius do? Bobby Genius bought a real estate publishing company when everything was going digital. Bobby Genius did that. I was going to be a publisher. Oh man, we'd run to Rome, Georgia, and we'd run to Huntsville, Alabama, and we'd pick up those beautiful glossy magazines. Oh, I can smell it now. I got high on the way home from smelling all the ink and all the chemicals that they did to do all that. And then me and Uncle Calvin would go right around and we put real estate magazines all over the country because I was building the real estate publishing empire, paper empire when the world was going digital. That was old Bobby Genius. So I got a feeling that all of y'all, Rick's probably got a Rick genius. Stuart's got a Stuart genius. Dwayne's got a Dwayne genius. And, Ken's got a Ken genius. And Ken genius, Ken genius is the one that will run right out into the middle of Interstate 20 with 100 cars coming at 100 miles an hour and say, hey, how y'all doing? No. Bobby Genius gets run over. Bobby, what's the antithesis or the anti-Bobby Genius? What would I call him? So Bobby Genius is not really Bobby Genius. So the things that's why I have to have algorithms, plans, and process. That's why I have to write the book. That's why I had to write 73 pages of a trading plan. Because if I don't get in there and look at it and read it, then I go off on my own. And when I'm left to my own devices, I am horrible. It's better to just keep it simple. Do the process. We don't want to overly complicate stuff. You remember back when that old gal used to own the Los Angeles Rams before they became the St. Louis Rams, before they become the whatever Rams. Remember, she used to make them all be doing yoga. Remember that back there in the day? And I remember, seeing Pat Summerall doing a story with the Rams all in their tights and doing their yoga poses and their Pilates. Now, you think they wanted to be there doing yoga and Pilates? Probably not. Did it help or did it complicate it? Well, here's the thing. I don't think it helped at all because the Rams back then weren't really that good either. So, here they are doing Pilates and yoga rather than, hey, let's run the ball, let's throw the ball, let's catch the ball, let's kick the ball, and doing the stuff that's really, really good for the process. You got to trust the process. What's the process? So, and I'll constantly tweak, and that's where I really make my, now, fortunately, there have been areas in my life I hadn't tweaked. So y'all know I take incredible risk, right? I'll take risk that most people won't do, but you wouldn't know it from my life. You wouldn't know it from my life because I don't buy I don't go into debt and buy the stuff that everybody thinks they got to have to impress people. No. I don't care, right? I don't care that I don't have the best haircut or the best clothes or the best car or any of that, right? So I've not had to go into debt to buy stuff in the past that other people would do and wreck their lives. And if you got a person that starts out working at a job in college and they've got an investment and they max out their investment into the S&P 500 and they've got I don't know if I had the smarts or whatever to never get out of the S&P 500. I just did it. And you do that over 30 years, then you're fine. If you've got that long to, of an investment horizon. So, market crashing 2008 didn't bother old Bob. I didn't even look at it. Flash crashes, I didn't look at it. I kept on going, baby, putting my max in, maxing my 401ks out, maxing out this, maxing out that. And at the end of 30 years, you look and you go, well, I'll be dang, I'm good. So, while everybody else was bitching and moaning and taking money out and trying to time the market, what was it, Jack Bogle in one of our books, time, and I don't want to attribute it to the wrong person, but whoever said time in the market is greater than timing the market was very, very wise. Ken has two. Yeah, Ken has two Ken geniuses. Yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, Bobby Genius. He raises his little hand and he still wants to do that at times. So many times I'm like, let's do this. Let's do this. And, and fortunately, Beth doesn't have that Beth genius. I mean, she's pragmatic all the time. So when I run out a Bobby Genius idea, normally Beth will shut those ideas down pretty quickly. And she supports other outlandish ideas, like the idea of going for your master's when you're 47 years old and you've been with the government for whatever years. But I showed her a plan, what we were going to do with it. We were going to use the masters plus my time in government to get a much better position within the government. And that's what I did. You know, surprised a lot of people actually. Wow. Right. And then you get a much better job, much better pay. Then that you're maximizing your 401ks and all your other stuff. Then you're able to, increase your retirement by doing that. And then to say, hey, Beth, I think I want to go for my PhD too. And her look at me like, okay, you got to explain this one to me. So I explained it to her and she bought into that one as well. She could have easily shut those down. So she's that's why your partner is so very, very important as well. And most of you probably have a partner or love interest, and it's important to choose well. It's important to choose well. I would be lost without Beth. Y'all know I talk about Beth all the time, and I pick at her, but I would be lost without Beth. Beth is she's the reasoning behind everything that I do. When I go, Beth, let's go all in on this, and she tempers that. Now she wasn't tempered enough on the real estate business and the goat business. So now we don't overdo it. We don't overly, I don't have 1,000 pigs out there now. I just got 4. I don't have 1,000 goats. I got 3. I don't have 1,000 chickens. I got 2. So she lets me play and dream and have all these little cool things on the side that just make life enjoyable, right? You want to have these things. You want to have your little pigs and your little farm and your little animals and all this kind of stuff. It makes for a great, great life. So, and then that's what you got to do is you wake up in the morning and you don't go, my life is my account. My life is my account. Do I care that the Nasdaq's down 3% today? No. And Bobby Genius getting in here panicking and messing up, he gets in trouble. But just using theory, statistics, quants, math, algos, make the decision. And I'm telling you, we're probably much better off just meeting 4 times a year, call it a day, 12 times a year, call it a day. So when we get on here, just don't overtrade. Slow our roll a little bit. 205 number is that Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's Nick Saban. Nick's probably saying, Bobby, I've seen your videos on YouTube. Would you mind speaking to the boys? I'll be like, Coach, pencil me in. Pencil me in. Yeah, Ken plays with dynamite just for fun. Yeah, because God knows I've blown up the account, y'all. I've told y'all there's no secret. There's no secret at all. I have made every mistake in the book. Every mistake in the book. Now, fortunately, when it comes to the finance part, I've done really well. I've not overextended myself. I don't go into debt I don't go into debt for things that go down in value and all that. But you can live a pretty miserable life being on the Dave Ramsey plan. And the Dave Ramsey plan is don't get any debt, treat yourself like a pauper, and whatever. And that can be pretty miserable if because you're sitting there going, I'm eating beans and rice and beans and selling everything to where in the house where the kids are afraid they go next, right? So that's not really the way to live either. So you be frugal, but at the same time, you do smart things with your investments, with the money that you put away. You don't overly risk, but you got to take risk. You got to take risk. If you're just putting your money into bonds, government bonds, you're not going to have anything. That's really, really safe. So you got to find out and say, over time, what has served me best? S&P 500. The S&P 500 has done me well over 30 years. And it will do the majority of people well. So that's why Warren Buffett says, hey, don't worry about buying the stocks. Just buy the S&P 500. Don't worry if it goes up or down over a period of time. Well, then we found something that said, hey, there's a safer way to do that, because the buy and holders don't do well over time, because if the market ever crashes back to where you started from, you've made zero. So now we've got an algorithm that tells us when to buy and when to sell. So if you've got doubt in your mind in the background, go, why am I doing all these options? Why am I doing the ones and the BSHs and the blah, blah, blahs and the blah, blah, blah? Because you're a little addict like I am. You like the excitement. The excitement sometimes gets in our way. So if you're sitting there going to do more slow and boring, be slow and boring. Man, put your money 50% in this and 50% cash or whatever. or do your allocations and what you want to do it on, and let the algo tell you when to buy and when to sell. And that's why I set it up and gave you the back testing version of my spreadsheet. So you can go back and methodically do that. Now I could probably, if I wanted to, oh, yes, desk. The very first of the video I talked about it, but I'll tell you again, is that why are you wanting to do the quarterly rebalance? You got to figure out if that's part of your plan. Now, remember, I want you to go back. I want you to back test chapter 6 of Lacello using that test version that I sent out. And I want you to say, we got to keep in mind that it's separate, right? And just go back to the very first video because I answered all your questions, but I'll talk about it a little bit more. Lacello never rebalanced. He began the program. He let the program run. 7.5 years, there was not a dime's worth of rebalance. He never says rebalance. So first of all, you got to ask yourself, am I going to rebalance? And if I do, what does that mean? And I think what we do, if you're going to do it quarterly, do it on April 1st, do it on, the first after the calendar quarter and go, should I rebalance? Because it changes your risk. Do I want to go, if my allocation right now is 50% TQ and let's say 50% cash. And at the end of the quarter, I'm going to go back up to 70% TQs and 30% cash. Well, that's going to take on more risk by me making that move. But what you would do is at the end of that quarter, you would not look at the signal. You would look at the rebalance. So let's say you're going through. At the end of the quarter, you've got a signal here. You don't take that signal. You ignore the signal if you're doing a quarterly rebalance. What you would instead do is do this. You would rebalance. But remember, Lacello didn't rebalance. There's no reason for you to rebalance unless you want to rebalance. But I built the rebalance so that you could rebalance. Bobby, should I rebalance? Depends on what your assumption is at the rebalance. If I were going to if I had to, you took a gun to my head and said, Bobby, pick one, I'd say don't rebalance. I'd say start it and let it run, baby. Okay, so Greg says, okay, good. Yeah, and I go into a lot more depth. Greg made a live video. Cool. About what, Greg? Okay, if I was going to do AIM weekly, would you still rebalance quarterly or set number of weeks? Again, if you want to strictly run AIM, don't rebalance. Because Lacello didn't, made your live video. Oh, I see, you made the live video, got you. I got you. Yeah, first time here, got you. Good, Greg, well, good to have you live. So if I was doing AIM weekly, checking it once a week, would you still rebalance quarterly? If you were just doing Lacello, no. But that's the cool thing, right? Because I could say, oh my gosh, now it says I'm 94%. I've got too much risk maybe on the table, right? I've bought too much. So if I wanted to take risk off, I certainly could do that. Problem is, if I did it, if it was the end of the quarter now, I am taking a loss because my cost basis, my current price of TQQQ is under my cost basis. But the great thing is you can make those decisions, right? Hey, how do I feel about the next quarter? What do I feel about what the big green monster's saying? What do I feel about all these things? But if y'all want a cookie cutter answer, here's what we probably should do. I tell you, we'll be more successful doing this. Set your AIM percentages up when you start and check it once a quarter. I think that will probably be better. All right, if you're an addict like me, do it once a month. No rebalancing. If you're really an addict, do it every 2 weeks. If you're a super addict, do it like I do every day where I check it. That's fine. Just be consistent in how you're going to do it. Be consistent. But I don't think that your results are going to be that much different by coming in here all the time. But don't complicate it. That's what we're talking about today. Keep it simple. That's why I don't want to ever change my video. I don't want to ever change my spreadsheet again. And y'all know I will. But I don't want to. I'm done. It's done. It's done. It's time to write the book. It's time to write the book on the process. So let's write the book. Let's be done with it. So we'll all have a guide for what we're supposed to do to make this thing happen and keep it simple. All right. Great session, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow.